So today the regular season ended and it was a crazy ending with the Clippers and Warriors game just ending a few minutes ago, and that game was insane overtime, but the Clippers won and now they are the 5th seed in the Western Conference. But today I'm going to make all of my predictions for the play-in and playoffs tournament. And let's start with the East. It's a little bit, easier, but I'm going to try to predict the NBA champion and also just try to predict everything. But start with the play-in for the East. We have the Bulls versus Heat. I have the Bulls winning because, I mean, to be honest, both of these teams could win. I won't be surprised. But the Bulls have been playing really great ball the past few weeks. Like in March, they were really good. And I think they're just a team that could make it the play-in. But I would not be surprised if the Heat would win too. For the other, I have the Magic winning. They were not good at the middle of the season, but have started to ramp it up and become better. Paolo is still insane, Franz Wagner. And I just feel like they have a really good defense to stop Trae Young. So I think the Magic are still a solid team, but their offense is just really bad. But if they somehow find their offense, they could be a pretty tough first out in the first round. Then I have the Hawks winning the Bulls. I feel like Dyson Daniels' defense is insane, and Trae Young, he always shows up in these play-in tournament stuff, and he has been really good this season. You know, he almost got snubbed from the All-Star game again, but he's been really good this season. So I have basically no seeds changing for the East. For the West, I'm just gonna say it's the same thing, bro. We all know that the Grizzlies and the Warriors are just a tier better than the Kings and the Mavericks. Now anything can happen in the play-in tournament, but I have the Warriors winning the Grizzlies to get that 7th seed, and I have the Grizzlies winning the. I feel like the Kings will win because they're just more healthy. They're solid team still, but I have the Grizzlies making it as the 8th seed. So for my predictions, I will have Cavs versus Hawks, Boston versus Orlando, and then for the West, OKC versus Grizzlies, and Rockets versus Warriors. Now, for the West, these teams are all really good. Like the Grizzlies were like the second, third seed for the majority of the season, then fell off. But I'm really excited to see what happens with that versus the Thunder, because the Grizzlies are not like a typical AFC that's like, sweep. They're actually a really tough team. So, really deep team as well. So, it's going to be a tough out for the Thunder. But I will have the Thunder winning that in 6 games because OKC has just been really dominant this season. If you haven't noticed, they are 68-14, which is one of the best records in NBA history. And they have just overall been like very dominant team, both offensively and defensively. And then for the Rockets and Warriors, now this is a really tough series. I have the Warriors winning in 7, however, because the Rockets is their first time in the playoffs in a while, and I feel like the Warriors just more experienced. Curry and Jimmy Butler, Draymond, they have a really good offense and defense. They've been rolling lately. I think they'll win in a tough 7 games, however, because the Rockets, as you saw earlier in the season, clamped up Steph to only 3 points, probably his worst game of the season, with Amin Thompson. So if they have that really good defense, I think the Rockets can win. But, however, the Rockets do not have many experienced players in the playoff, like Jalen Green, Şengün haven't really had much experience in the playoffs at all. I mean, Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet do, like Steven Adams, but a lot of their core does not, and the Warriors have a ton of experience. So I think the Warriors are going to upset the Rockets and make it to the second round. And then for the East, first 8 and 2-7, I have the Cavs winning in like 5 games. They have been really dominant, and I don't think the Hawks really stand much of a chance. For the Celtics, also in 5 versus the Magic. Now the Magic, their offense is just not good, and the Celtics have both defense and offense. They're defending champs, one of the best teams in the league, 60 plus wins. They're gonna go advance. Now these 4, 5, and 3, 6 matchups are a lot harder to predict, but for the West, the Nuggets versus Clippers is a very interesting matchup, as the Nuggets just fired their coach just a few games before the playoffs. However, I still think they'll win in a tough 7-game series because of Jokic. The Clippers, I mean, they do have a pretty solid defense at the center position with Zubats, and Ben Simmons is solid, but Jokic has been insane. Now, the reason why I could see the Clippers also winning this is because Kawhi Leonard is back into form, and I don't see the Nuggets really stopping him. They don't really have like a stopper on defense. Peyton Watson is, but he doesn't play too much minutes because his offense isn't as good. And then James Harden also. So I think the defense of the Nuggets might hurt them, but the Nuggets, they still have Jokic, who is the best player in the league. Jamal Murray, if Jamal is not healthy for the playoffs, I think the Clippers will win. But we have to see on that, because the Nuggets haven't been much really good without Jamal. So actually, with all of these stuff, I might pick the LA Clippers to win with all of these like turmoil stuff in the first round. I'm gonna have the Clippers win, but it's a really tough choice right here. That is a very interesting series. Then for the 4-5 for the East, we have the Pacers Bucks. This is also a very hard series because of another health issue, Damian Lillard, blood clot. But it looks like Dame might be able to play in the playoffs. If Dame plays, I feel like the Bucks can win. Giannis has been insane, averaging triple doubles right and left, and he and the Bucks are cruising right now. They are on like a really good win streak. Kevin Porter Jr. has been a great addition as well. Kuzma has been solid, but definitely Giannis has been like insane. I don't see Indiana really stopping him that much. Last season, the Pacers won 6-game series, but Giannis was not healthy and he did not play it at all, along with Dame being injured. So if they're both healthy, I feel like the Bucks can win this one. But the Pacers also a really tough 7-game series again, because Tyrese Halliburton, after being not really that good in the first like few months, have been really good the past few months. Siakam, they have a lot of depth right there on their team. And then for the 3-6, Lakers Timberwolves is also a really tough series, but I have the Lakers in 6. Luka was really good against the Timberwolves last year, and same team he's versing, except no Cat, Julius Randle, and the Wolves fell off a little, but they have been much better recently. And I see like the Lakers having a pretty solid defense still. But Anthony Edwards can go off. He is a playoff riser. Along with, a different team, for the Timberwolves might change how they defend Luka. But they also have LeBron James, so I think the Lakers will win this one in a tough series. I like that all of these series are tough, besides like, the Cavs versus Hawks and possibly the Celtics versus Magic. But I like this. This playoffs is going to be really interesting, especially in the West. Then 3-6 Knicks Pistons. I have the Knicks winning in 6. The Pistons have been a really good team this season. Kate Cunningham's a superstar, but they haven't had much experience in the playoffs besides like Tobias Harris and a few other veterans, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway. But, I think the Knicks will win. They have a pretty solid lineup, and if they're fully healthy, they look like a really good team too. So I have the Knicks winning that. So for my second round, I have Thunder to go against the Clippers, Lakers, Warriors. Then for the East, Bucks, Cavs, Knicks, Celtics. Now, these second rounds are going to be insane, but I have the OKC Thunder winning the Clippers in 6. OKC has a really good defense that could help stop Kawhi, Harden, and I don't see much of a player to guard Shea. I mean, it's going to be tough to go against the Thunder, this powerhouse of a team. So I have the OKC Thunder winning that in 6. It's gonna be a tough matchup though, because Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs is insane. But I feel like James Harden might drop off a little with this OKC defense, especially like Lou Dort guarding him. And then, you know, they have a really good double big lineup too, which might be tough for the Clippers to guard because they don't have really a backup center besides Ben Simmons. Next, we have the Lakers Warriors. Now, this is the series we've been waiting for. It almost happened in the first round, but I think that actually this scenario where it happens in the second round is even better, even more. The rematch of 2023. I think this is a really tough series. This is gonna be a masterpiece, 7-game series, but I'm gonna give it actually to the Lakers. Lakers winning, going to the conference finals in 7 games because Luka and LeBron. I feel like Luka, in the playoffs rises. LeBron always masterful in the playoffs, and this team is just really good. Warriors also really good, but I think that the Lakers with their offense might be a little bit more overpowering. But anything can happen with Stephen Curry in the lineup, as well as playoff Jimmy. This is just insane if this happens, and I would love it. So hopefully this happens, and hopefully the Warriors win the Grizzlies in the play-in. But second for the second versus third in the East. I have the Celtics winning in 6. The Knicks have lost against every good team, basically. They haven't won. 0-10 against the 3 powerhouses, OKC, Cleveland, and Boston. I would really like this matchup, though, because we didn't see it last year, and the Knicks have improved a lot from last season. However, their defense have definitely fallen off with the additions of Cat and OG and Mikal not living up to expectations on defense. But still, this is a really tough team to beat. But, the Celtics have beat them a lot in the regular season, and I feel like it will continue. 6-game series. Then for the Cavs versus the Bucks, I have the Cavs in 6 also. Cavs have just been really good this season. 64 wins, which is the best since LeBron James in 09, I believe. This is just a great team right here, all around, offense, defense. And the Bucks, they have a lot of holes. After Giannis and Dame, their depth is not as good. Kyle Kuzma hasn't been as good. So I feel like, Doc Rivers is their head coach. I feel like the Cavs are winning that. Then for the West, conference finals. Lakers, Thunder. I have the Thunder winning in like 6 or 7. Now, this is the toughest matchup for the Thunder. The Lakers are a really tough matchup for them, as you saw in like the regular season. Luka torching the Thunder, but then the game after, they won again after Luka got out of the game. But Luka has been torching the Thunder. They won the Mavericks when he was on the Mavericks last season. He won the Thunder in 6, but I don't see that upset because the Thunder have improved a lot with Caruso, Hartenstein. I feel like the Thunder have a ton of defenders to go at LeBron or Luka or anyone else. And Lakers, I still feel like their center position is a little bit weak. And with the Thunder having Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein both being pretty good offensively as well as, of course, defensively, it's going to be tough for the Lakers to win. I have the OKC Thunder making the finals for the West. Then for the East, I have Boston beating Cavaliers in 7. This will be a really, really good matchup right here between the 2 Eastern powerhouses. I really hope this happens because it's going to be a 7-game series, definitely. And Boston, I just feel like they're more experienced with winning the championship last year. And the Cavs, they have been really good, but some of their players, like, they don't have as big caliber superstars as the Boston Celtics does. And, the Celtics have a ton of players, but the Cavs have a ton of players too. Like, they both have like a big four. Probably even like a big five or something with like DeAndre Hunter on the Cavs. It's gonna be a crazy series, but I have the Celtics winning just with that little more experience. However, it's gonna be a great matchup. OKC versus Boston in the finals would be insane matchup as well. And for my 2025 NBA champion, I have the Boston Celtics repeating in 7 games just because I feel like Boston have the defenders to go against OKC, and their offense, if it's cooking, it's insane. And they just have so many good players. Like Peyton Pritchard even has become much better. And they have a ton of defenders to throw on Shea, like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Derek White, as well as also a double big lineup with Al Horford and Chris Porzingis. You can add in like Luke Cornett or like another center that they have. They have solid centers. So I feel like that team would match OKC well. But if these playoff series actually happen, it will be really, really entertaining. So hopefully they happen. But yeah, that's basically it. You guys watching? Well.